Hello everyone, welcome to another Python tutorial series, and in this video I'm going to talk about an introduction to platformer in Ursina engine, number 6, adding a restart button. So let's run the code first and see what we have so far. If I save and run this, I can move my player left and right. I have my enemies, and I also have my traps and a health bar at the top. When I step on the trap, my health bar decreases, and if I collide with an enemy, then I fall and I lose. So you notice that when the player steps on a trap, the health bar will shrink and it will eventually become 0. And that just means that the player will die. And the player also dies by colliding with enemies. Now when the health bar comes 0, the player stays down and the enemies will all stop moving. And that just means that the game is over. And it would be nice to add a restart button so that when we click it, the game will restart. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. I hope you like it. So first, let's create a restart button. So to create our button, let's create it down here, right where we create our health bars. So right above where I create my health bar, I'm going to create a restart button. So restart button. I'll have a variable b equal to a button. I'll set the color equal to color.rgb. 255, 255, 255, 0. Oops, let me go up. I find it right there. We'll set the scale equal to 0.25 on the x, 0.1 on the y-axis. I'll set the icon equal to an image in my assets folder called restart.png. And I just want to state that these parameters in the RGB, the fourth parameter represents the transparency of this image. So this 255 is the R, the red, 255 is the green, and this 255 is the blue. So if we save and run this, now we see this restart button in the very center of our screen. Now at the beginning of the game, we don't want the button to show, and we only want it to show when the game is over. So we'll set the Y position to be 1 so that it will be out of sight. So initially I'm going to add another parameter and set the Y position equal to 1. And that just means that the button is going to be out of our screen. So if I save and run this again, now our button is no longer on our screen. So now we want to define a reset function that will actually reset the game when it is called. So let's create a function up here. I'll create a reset function. I'll have a global switch variable. And I need this to declare the switch as a global variable. I'll set the player rotation on the z-axis equal to 0. And so after the reset, the player will be standing instead of laying on the ground, and that just means the rotation in the z is 0. I'll set player.x equals 0, so that will be at the center. I'll set the green bar dot scale x equal to 10, and that just means the health bar will be full. And finally, I'll set the switch equal to 1, which just represents, or which just means that the players will start, or the enemies will start to move again. And remember that the enemies will only move when the switch is equal to 1. So far we have the button will be out of the window when we start the game. And at some point we need the button to actually show. And that will happen when the player collides with an enemy or the health bar becomes 0. And when it happens, we need to set the Y coordinate of the button to be 0, so that it will be at the center of our window. So first of all, let's go to where we collide with our enemies. So if I go here, in this if statement, we check for collision with enemies. And if we do collide with an enemy, we'll set the button Y position equal to 0. And this just means that the button will show on our window when the player collides with an enemy. And now we also want to check for our health bar. So when the health bar becomes 0, then we also want to show the show the button. So right here, we check the health bar, and I'll just check if the health bar scale is basically empty, then I'll show the button as well. So now we're going to click the button to call the reset function. So right underneath where I have our button or create a button, I'm going to set b.on click equal to reset. And so if I save and run this, and I step on a trap and wait for it to become 0, you see that the reset button is now in the center, and when I click it, everything is reset. Okay, but now you see that the button still stays in the center, and we actually need it to go away when we reset. And so the one thing we need to do is go back into our reset function up here and set the button's Y position equal to 1. And if I finally save and run this again, this time I'll collide with an enemy. Now the reset button appears, I can click reset or restart, and everything runs just the same. Let's try it on the trap. I click restart, and it works just as well. So this is the end of this video and the end of the platformer series. If you have any comments, please put them below at the comment section. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please hit the red button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.